What's up, guys? Welcome back to week 11 of the ESL Weekly Cup of Guild Wars 2. We're back in with the other semifinal right now. It's going to be Cheese Mode going up against the Warbears that we saw progress in round 1 against the sort of pickup group that we saw from Law and Jebro and Synstitix and everyone. But we're going to go ahead and jump straight into this game here. If we go ahead and check this out here. Let's go ahead and introduce our players. Blue, on the Cheese Mode side, we have Zapdos, Azron, Rom, Sizer, and Frey. And on the Warbear side, Gemcasters, Biscuits, Lee, Didi, and Kenny.
Alright, and we're going to go over blue team's builds. Cheese Mode, as again, we already went over red team's builds. We will browse over those quickly, but we're only going to be, going over cheese modes for the time being. And real quick, let's take a look at them. Zapdos, the Hambo warrior here playing for cheese mode, is going to be running with 6 tunes of Lissa, Hambo, Soldier's Amulet, as well. The trait's going to be pretty typical Hambo, 0-0, 30-10, 30, running with Berserker Stance, Balance Stance, and Endure Pain. Azron, Azron left the game. Okay. And Ramon Coke is going to be running with 6 runes of Lissa, as well as Rifle, Axe, Sword, along with the Berserker's Amulet, and his traits are going to be 15-0, 25-0, 30. An interesting build, to say the least. I'm
interested in seeing what this does.
What? I need to look at this, actually. I'm trying to see. Is this what I...
Is he... I don't...
I will, when we get in game, we'll see.
Alright, so Sizer coming up next.
That's all I'm going to say for that build for the time being. Sizer, let's take a look here. Running with 6 runes of Lissa, as well as a short bow, sword, dagger, as well as a Berserker's Amulet with his trait, being 10-30-0-30-0. Again, is choosing to still run, I believe, sword, dagger after the recent nerfs. Frey is going to be the Bunker Guardian here, running with 6 runes of the soldier, as well as staff, mace, focus, cleric's amulet, and the traits being 0, 10, 10, 30, 20. And then last but not least, as he has rejoined the game, Azron is going to be running with double spirits here in a spirit build with 6 runes of Grenth, as well as the short bow, sword, dagger, settler's amulet, and the traits 10, 10, 30, 20, 0.
All right, man. So we're just let's go over Biscuit loves ITA. His build. He's the only one who's really switched up from the last time we saw them. If you guys are interested in the build, you can go ahead and check out the VODs of this from match 1, which will be on youtube.com/Sireph. But if we go over this guy's build here, we got 6 runes of Lissa, sword, pistol with the short bow, running Zerkers, and the stats are 10, 30, 0, 30.
Yeah, sword pistol builds, we, to say at least, we don't see them that often.
Yeah, man.
So we will have to see how that does end up playing out here. But again, Sword Pistol has sort of made a return as of late in NA. There are quite a few thieves playing it. I wouldn't so sure to say it's meta just yet, but to say the least, it is being considered by a lot of players after the recent patches. It does have the ability, again, to be a very annoying build, especially if some NA players do choose to run a little bit of haste with it and actually get it to like just pop it in an insanely quick time span and just absolutely destroy people. But I don't believe he's going to be trying to do it with this build. No,
I don't either.
I don't think so. But again, it does do a pretty decent amount of damage, and some thieves have chosen to run it in some situations.
All right, well, we're about to start this game up and see exactly where everyone decides to get in on the splits here. I want to see if there's any sort of interesting cross plays, any sort of invasion tactics that we're going to see here, and we just might check out Didi and everyone sacking up right outside the base here. They're actually going to go straight for a massive cross, both teams.
I want to touch on something, though. Only Biscuit stealthed. I mean, he's already gone out of it. I was just curious. I thought they were going to try to do something with that, but apparently not. I think Biscuit was just trying to surprise Sizer a little bit, because, again, you see how quickly Sizer's moving.
Yeah, Sizer's pretty much immediately gotten all the way over to mine. He's already dealing with Gemcasters. Biscuits joins the fight right now onto Mine Point. If we jump over to where to Henge, we see that both of the Rangers here ended up on Henge, which is really interesting, actually. So the split has been pretty even, actually. 2 to either side point and 1 to mid here is going to be Didi versus Azron in the mid, as well as over here on mine again, Rom and Sizer going up against Gemcasters and Biscuit. Gemcasters just now dropped, though Sizer went in and it just smacked him. Rom going in for the stomp, will get it. So now it's a 2v1 over here on mine. We're going to start seeing this as well, but Blue's got a quick and early lead, having secured Henge.
And indeed, well played there. But definitely want to touch on that split a little bit there. Usually we almost always see a majority of the players go and fight for mid on this map, but for one of the first times that I've ever seen, really, it has been played out very differently. And we had teams going for side cap priorities, and they're just now starting to switch up and head over towards middle. And even so, blue team is not really doing that yet. We have Sizer going onto the beach just to try to harass Gemcasters of what would almost be considered trying to spawn camp a little bit here on Sizer's end. So very interesting.
They're just 1v1ing on the beach, you know, standard, right?
Very interesting splits from Cheese Mode, to say the least, at the moment here, as they are, and you can even see it too. Look, both their warriors aren't even going on points as of yet. They're just waiting by the 2 side points for something to happen, and they're keeping mid contested. So yeah, I don't even know what to make of this at the moment. It's just very unorthodox is what Cheese Mode is doing at the moment here.
Frey is really good as well. Like, we were talking about Tage a lot, but Frey is almost just as good, if not as good as Tage. Going in on getting the res on Azron as well. Stomp will not allow that to happen, though. So Rom and Frey are going to have to deal with this pressure here in mid. And no one else from Red Team is really trying, like, we will see that Kenny is trying to figure out exactly what he needs to do here. And that sort of indecision is going to allow him to get on mine when there's no one there, but we will see off the respawn as well.
So the crazy play from Cheese Mode definitely worked, because as you can see, they're up 100 points right now. But it may or may not be caught in the fight here in mid, because this mid fight is still a toss-up. The Gemcasters did just go down there. That is to be expected, though, as the Bunker Guardians can be focused down fairly easily in a team fight, but they still have a lot of res utilities available, so they can pretty easily get them up. And now Blue Team 2 is going to be splitting themselves up. So the opener worked for Cheese Mode. Now the question is, what are they going to do with it here as they try to continue this fight on? It looks like they're trying to fight for mid, maybe get that, and at the same time, they're also sending one of their warriors over here to try and keep a possible 3-cap rolling, so it's still up in the air as to what Cheese Mode's priorities actually are, as they have, again, sent Ram over here going for what would be considered a 3-cap strategy.
Yeah, I think, well, they're just going to try and dominate, really. I think that's exactly what they're trying to do, is just show how strong they are as a team at this point. Just, like, begin to just completely dong on Warbears here. If Ram could take their side point back, then they would be in good running to do so as well. Where is Sizer, though? He's just coming off the respawn. He's going to rejoin the fight over on mine, and he's actually going to see Biscuits before Biscuits jumps in on there. Goes in Bass, he sets up the spike. Going to go ahead and knock down Biscuits to a very low health here, and this is going to be really interesting. Biscuits going, not able to really come through with that sword pistol build, though.
Indeed, yeah, he did evade through some of the damage there by popping pistol whip, but Sizer was still able to poke through him there in the end and actually take him into the down state. And just to reiterate, by the way, guys, Ram is not actually running kill shot. He's not running rifle here. He switched his weapons out to a more ordinary set, running with longbow, axe, sword, as well as a soldier's amulet. So anyone that was curious, Ram is not running a kill shot.
Yeah, and
I don't think anyone was expecting it, but just in case anyone was curious.
It was kind of iffy there for a second. We're going to see that Biscuit's going to go straight to Henge. I think that Frey's sort of sensed this. His Guild Wars senses were tingling. He knows that someone's going to decap his home. And we will see DD and Kenny going to go ahead and cycle over there as well. Blue Team has the 3-cap right now. Total domination is happening right now.
And again, as we're seeing, a Blue Team still extremely split at the moment here. They're all over the place, have themselves evenly spread to all 3 points. They are straight up, they're really confident in the fact that they can hold this 3-cap. And as you can see, it's doing pretty well for them right now. Red Team's just still a little bit what I would almost consider to be disoriented as to where they actually want to push. They've got people on hand, they got people already on mid, they got the warrior on mid, granted. So they will need to reinforce that in a second here, because we do have 3 people from Warbears Inc. here. But again, they also have people fighting over here at the mine too. So far, this has
happening.
It's
happening.
Pretty dominant 3-cap strategy.
Yeah, man. Rom able to just pretty much stay alive forever against Gemcasters. We will see the team fight reinitiating in mid. Frey is joining the fight, so their staying power has just upped itself immensely. Azron is here as well with the spirits, so they're having a large amount of trouble here. I wonder if it's partially because they're running 2 Spirit Rangers. But also because Biscuits is running that sword pistol spec, which is, I don't know, I feel like it needs to be explored more.
Remember, Kenny's not technically speaking running a Spirit Ranger spec. Kenny's running what I would consider a Condi stacking spec. I don't know if I'm defining that correctly, but from what I've seen so far of it, from the past that as well as this one, it definitely seemed to be a much more Condi stacking focused spec than it was a Spirit Ranger spec, because he's only got the 1 spirit.
That's true. That is very true. But but we will see that he has decapped Henge. Zapdos is now initiating the fight, as run here as well to start the alley-oop, really. 2v1's initiated here. Red is actually pushing onto mine now, off of mid, and they're really trying to do that because they know that, well, it's close to their spawn. If they start losing people, they can sort of start coming together and retake that there. But it also allows for Biscuits to kind of come up and backcap mid right now, which is exactly what he's doing. I wonder if this push at mine is just a feint.
I might be, in all honesty, because I mean, it is allow them to decapture middle, but
just like that.
I don't know.
At what cost? At what cost?
So at this point, looking at the scores, and at this point, I think this game is pretty safe to call it for cheese mode. I mean, they came out at the start here with that really unorthodox push here, going for basically all 3 nodes at once.
Yeah.
And red team just really was caught off guard by that.
They had no idea like how to deal with it, which is really upsetting.
And then cheese mode consistently pushed for that 3-cap throughout the course of the entire game too, and was able to pull that off, which was rather surprising to me, because you usually do have a lot of trouble trying to pull off strategies like that, and it was really just coming down to the fact that red team, I think, was just having a lot of trouble figuring out how they actually wanted to try and counter it. So going into the next game, they're obviously going to get quite a few minutes here to think about how they want to try and counter this, how they want to try to get around this. But for this first one, I think it's pretty safe to call it in cheese mode's favor.
Check out DD. He's trying to res himself and get himself on mine, but I think they're just going to go ahead and push for champions at this point, and force creatures rather, and just win, like, right now. That's just what's going to happen.
Yeah, and here we go.
The last kill.
There's the last kill. 2 more ticks, and they got it. So again though, really well played there by cheese mode, running an unorthodox split like that, and being able to capitalize on that extremely well. They got a 100-point lead before I think Warbus actually got any points whatsoever, just because of just how strange that opener split was, and it just really ended up pushing them just, like, way too far ahead at the start, and that's why we saw them push so that's why we saw them obviously take such a huge lead here.
Absolutely. Red team is actually immediately leaving to sort of, I guess, change up their strategy here.
I mean, again, they've probably been thinking about this entire game. Yeah. How do we want to change things up for the next one? How do we want to try and counter this? Because we know that they're going to try something similar the next game too. Like we know that they're confident. We know that they're confident that they can try and do this 3-cap strategy on us. So we need to try and think of a way to actually counter this.
Absolutely. This is the first time that we've seen a blue-sided team win the entire tournament so far.
Is it
interesting? Yeah, because both red sides previously have had a disconnect, which has somehow guaranteed them victory. I don't know how that works out, but I guess it does. So yeah, we're gonna start seeing people start recycling back in this game. We're just waiting. Oh my God, let's go ahead and jump in and just talk about what we're seeing right now, because we do see Lee has switched over to Staff Ellie.
Oh my goodness.
Staff Ellie, y'all.
It's not Zerker Ellie though, as a disappointment to Master Splinter.
Cleric soldiers.
Master Splinter will be very disappointed indeed. But running with 6 runes of Balandra here, as well as the staff with Energy Sigil on it, Cleric's Amulet, and the traits are going to be 0, 0, 10, 30, 30. So it looks like
Biscuit switching back to the dagger pistol.
Okay, so that I could definitely agree with there. Just as trying to get more direct damage in there. It was obviously being hard countered by Sizer, so he wasn't able to do much with that last game, so definitely going back to this, definitely a solid choice. Other than that, though, let's see here. Gemcaster's no changes on his Remard that I can see, or rather Regard that I can see off the bat. Yep, same build from him. DD, is he running a different build here at all?
I don't think so.
I think the split might be a bit different. I'm trying to see. I'm trying to remember if he was running 0, 0, 20, 30, 20 or not. I'm not sure if he was or not. But regardless, does have the double shout as well as the hollowed ground now too coming into play here.
Yeah, did he have? I'm pretty sure it was like all 3 shouts before.
Yeah, I think it was 3 shouts too. So I think he has changed out to hollowed ground, trying to get more stability. I definitely can agree that they were getting CC'd pretty hard there in the middle fight, so that'll definitely help out with it.
Yep, and I'm interested in seeing what else they're going to come out with. So they had Kenny, who switched. Kenny is not switched. It's Lee who switched to Ellie, and
so that's interesting to me, because you'd think Kenny running this Condi stacking build and not a standard Spirit Ranger build. Granted, don't keep in mind the strongest part of the Spirit Ranger build, which is the Spirit of Nature, they still have that.
Yeah.
But the fact that they've chosen to run, the fact that they've chosen to swap out the regular Spirit Ranger in favor of this what I consider to be Conde stacking one is a very interesting choice to me, especially when they want to switch it up for something like a staff alley.
Maybe they're gonna put Lee in that support role anyway, as like a support staff alley.
Yeah,
which I feel like may actually happen.
Considering
Spec into water.
Let me see real quick here. Just trying to see what he does have. It's a hard tell because I'm not too good with trying to predict LA builds here, so I do apologize if I'm miscalling this. But I think this one may be more of either trying to do team fight support or going far point. But again, I could be wrong with that, considering he's running Tornado. But normally I don't think we see staff when people go far point. I could be wrong on that though, because LE meta has been really weird the past month or two.
Yeah. It's been so dynamic, which is great. Good to see that people are just experimenting with it.
There's a lot of experimentation, to say the least, with LE. But again, I'm not... I could be completely wrong in calling that, but he could be team fight support, but usually when... Actually, I don't know. We'll have to see. I just want to see how it plays out when we get into the actual game.
Yeah, man. Let's check out the splits as we go ahead and retake our place in the Legacy of the Foe Fire. And here it comes. They're exiting the gates now, everybody. We will see that Lee will go ahead and warp towards Quarry. He's going to be joined by two of his teammates here. That's going to be Biscuit and Gemcasters. And we're going to see that Kenny and Didi are going to go straight to mid. It's going to be Rom and Siza going straight towards Quarry as well, being extremely offensive here. But they're going to be just fine taking this 3v2, I think.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like it's Sizer getting hit with a big old blast there from Gemcasters, and it's going to force him to fall back completely. He'll rejoin in just a second, though, by getting his withdrawal. He might actually loop around the middle here, too, and try to help up with that, but it looks like everyone's making their way over here to Quarry, as that's where the big fight's going to be.
Absolutely. Obsidian Lee, I want to watch the staff Ellie at work. He was in water spec just for a little bit to get the support out, healing up a little bit, everyone around him, and now he's in Earth, and I think this is going to be really sort of indicative of how the rest of the game is going. Like this specific fight here, this small team fight will sort of indicate how he's going to play probably the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm. And actually, we completely miscalled something, Sireph.
What's up?
We need to correct that right now. Yeah, Obsidian Lee is not running staff. We probably should have like instantly called that. It's just been so long since we've seen Ellie coming into play in tournaments here. So apologies on regard to that.
There we go.
He was running staff for pregame buffs, and we completely forgot about that. And as such, this build is now much more normal, running Scepter Dagger. So it makes a lot more sense.
See the equipment, it's up there on the screen for you, and now Scepter Dagger. This makes sense to me now.
Yeah.
Everything is right in the world.
So, I mean, the staff could have worked, granted, if he was running Zerker Ellie or something. I mean, it would have been very risky, but now that he is actually running with Scepter Dagger, that's a lot. That's a lot more of a confident choice, I would say.
This is what happens when you stop paying attention and you start talking.
And this is, again, as we saw, this is a far point build. And that was what I was thinking, but I was, again, expecting it to be Scepter Dagger who was going to run far point with it, so...
I feel kind of, like, let down.
That it wasn't staff?
That it wasn't staff.
I'm kind of disappointed in myself that I didn't see that coming ahead of time, but again, I kind of just forgot, because it's been so long since we've seen Ellie's speed, so I forgot about the staff per game buff thing.
Alright, so anyway, back in the game, we're seeing Cheese Mode just tear shit up. They're going crazy, man. Like, look at Sizer, he's about to take on Obsidian Lee, taking him down one at a time. Kenny gets stomped out in the mid as well. They're very dominant, 80 points to 0 right now. They're probably going to take mid as soon as Lee goes down. Quarry is another story, though. We have Rom and Freylina going up against Biscuit and Didi. Biscuit's about to drop. Rom going to go ahead, but Didi's going to go ahead and drop the Resolute Healer, push everyone away. Will Freylina get the stomp off? No. Biscuit gets straight back up, but Didi's in a little bit of trouble right now.
Indeed he is. Let's check out Didi as we take a look at him. Where is Didi? There we go. Taking a look at Didi. As again, though, it does look like blue team coming into here. They are going to be trying to focus down Biscuit over the next few seconds here, as they have CC'd him quite a few times, and when they do get him CC'd, we've seen this before, and again, Thieves are extremely squishy, so all they got to do is get one immobilize off on him, and assuming he doesn't have any shadow steps, they should be able to take him down fairly easily, like they just did there. So now all pressure is going to shift to Didi, and more than likely, Red Team will be losing control at this point in the next few seconds, unless they're going to send their reinforcements off of spawn here, which I do think they will. So now it comes down to Didi. How long can he survive? And as he has sacrificed one of his shouts, he's no longer going to be able to cleanse these Condis.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time. Although he's got some support. Wow, coming in now from Lee, but I'm beginning to wonder if they can even begin to start taking down this 2v1. It's DD who's just like, he's having such a hard time. He's got one shout down off cooldown, 7 seconds until he's able to heal again, but I'm not sure if he'll be able to make it. Yeah, he goes straight down. Lee coming in for the res. Will it happen though? We'll have to find out. Wave of Light does not go through, and Rom will go ahead and stomp him through right there. So it's still 157 to 0 right now. They're more than halfway to the point that they need to be, pretty much at, like, to actually no, it'd be 175 is a halfway point to 350. Pardon my math there. They've surpassed that point. Now they're halfway to the Lord Rush point here, and they're still like 3-point strategy. Their 3-point strategy is like still on point right now.
And indeed, as we see Zapdos over here wiping up, and Waterfall going to be taking down Kenny in just a few seconds to recapture that point for his team. Red team pressure looks like it's probably going to be shifting again over here to the quarry, but Red team again is having a little bit of trouble getting their strategy together as to where they want to actually push at spawn. We do have Obsidian looks like he was going to go quarry, but then it changed his mind again as he looks like he wanted to actually go to Waterfall now instead. So again, it's really up to Red team just trying to decide where they want to go, and we're seeing a possibly really early Lord push.
I mean,
from Blue team. I grant it's not too early.
When you're ahead, there's a very famous saying in StarCraft that applies to pretty much everything in life, including Guild Wars. When you're ahead, get more ahead. And that is exactly what Cheese Mode is doing right now. They're going to start pushing it on the soldiers and then the casters and the Lord himself, and they're going to take him out, and then they're going to be at a really nice point to just go back to the fights immediately, pretty much. So Red Lord's already about down to like half health. He's going to try and heal up soon, probably. Yep, and they do not... Oh, they do interrupt him. They bashing him, and there it is. And, you know... Oh, look at what Red's doing. look at what Warbears is trying to pull off right now. They've sort of just kind of thrown it right now.
See. I do think, again, that Red team has sort of resigned at this point. So it's just coming down to the last few moments, and we're going to have to toss out an early congratulations to Cheese Mode.
Yep.
As we will see, though. Let's see if Red team can push the Lord, though. As Biscuit Fluff is now sitting in the Red team spawn.
This is going to be really interesting to see. They've knocked him back. At least got one hit on him.
Let's see. Can they get a point?
Can they get themselves on the scoreboard?
Let's see. They got 2 more. They got like 2 to 3 more ticks. 50%. Cheese Mode's coming in, trying to counter. There's the Lord healed. They won't get it.
501 to 0. Screenshot that. That's really upsetting, actually. Oh man, but it was such a good dominant game from Cheese Mode, which is such a great way to sort of bring us into the next final match.
Indeed.
Which is going to be Cheese Mode versus VOTF and Helseth.
But again, though, that isn't a discount. We had a good run from Warbears this tournament. They did manage to knock out our all-star team consisting of Sensotix, the Law, Wooden Potatoes, Chronic Gamer, and Jebro. So they did manage to take them out as well. But again, they have been eliminated from the tournament, and who knows, again, we may see them come into play next week, and we definitely hope to see them again next week in Weekly Cup number 12. But we are going to move on to our final game in just a moment.
Yeah, man, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We've got more gems to give away before the finals match. We'll be right back, guys, just right after this.
See you in a few.